So how this, when will this suspend before low go off? So you can see this is an example here where the actual low limit has been set at 3.4, and what the SmartGuard will do is actually suspend at a level no higher than 3.9 above your lower limit of 3.4, so it would go off no earlier than 7.3, and it would go off when you're predicted to be estimated about 1.1 above that lower level. So in this case, trying to prevent the glucose level going below 4.5, as you can see there. So that's when it's going to suspend earlier. And you can see from the next slide that the option is to actually have the alerts on or off. Well, for me, this is going to be the beauty of the system, is you can turn that alert off so that it actually suspends the insulin without you knowing about it and prevents the hypo in the first place. Whereas before, I'll use my example, I'd have to get up in the night with a predictive alert and have a biscuit or have some glucose tablets. And again, that's interrupting my sleep. You can see here that if the stopping the basal wasn't enough and it actually went down and hit that lower limit of 3.4, at that point you would always get an alert because you would need to get up and test your blood and treat the hypo at that point. But the idea is that suspending the basal is going to prevent you from hitting that low limit in the first place. So this is the case where it had worked, this slide, where it worked nicely, where it stopped the insulin at a level of maybe about 6.5 there it looks, that the glucose level was trending down but has stopped to reach that lower limit and aims to keep it above 1.1. And then as the glucose level then starts to rise and it's at least 1.1 above your lower limit, and it's predicted to be at least 2.2 in the next 30 minutes, the basal will be resumed, and that can happen anywhere between 30 minutes to 2 hours. So it should prevent, whereas before with a low glucose suspend it would be off for the full 2 hours unless it was turned back on. This should then allow the glucose level to be in a good level in the morning by only suspended for the time that's necessary. And again, from this slide here, you can choose to have this alert on or off, and this is again going to be the beauty of the system. If this suspends and restarts overnight without telling me, that is what I want, because I want a full night's sleep and I want to have that safety of knowing that it's going to suspend and restart. So that's the bit that I'm looking to the most, some extra sleep and not being annoyed by too much and have to have too many biscuits during the night. The maximum amount of time that the suspend would stay off for is 2 hours. So if your glucose hadn't recovered after that 2 hours, it would be restarted, and that's due to safety, to make sure that the insulin isn't suspended for too long because of the risk of ketones building up and issues with that. So that's how the SmartGuard is going to work. So in kind of summary, the key benefits are going to be it's going to suspend earlier, and when it's predicted to hit at least 1.1 above that lower limit. And the idea is that it does that without an alarm, and then it's going to resume the basal insulin once the hypo has been prevented, but how long it stays suspended for shouldn't no longer be the full 2 hours, should only be as long as is necessary for the glucose level to start rising again. But this is what we're going to be putting to the test.